Here we go!
Hi there, this is Elliott from the 2P Project, and this is my gracious and most fun-loving, you're not a host, best friend in the whole wide world, Mr. JC Draconant. And I'm not going to tell anybody what JC stands for because I'm cool like that, but that's okay. What you been up to?
No, nothing. It's
Nothing?
just a day off again. Every time we do these podcasts, it's on my day off. So
I know, like 2 weeks though.
Yeah.
We didn't have a
Has it been 2
podcast
weeks?
last week. Yeah.
oh well,
Yeah.
here we are.
No, that's okay. Last week we were tired and
Well, we had
whatever.
a week off to get some content to talk about.
That's right. Yes. And so we have a ton of content to get through today, but we may not progress past or beyond Kingdom Hearts 3 discussion today because my lovely, amazing partner in crime, Miss Naomi, has beaten the game. And I hear that you, Jeff, as well, has also beaten the game as well.
Yeah, we actually both beat it today, so we'll have lots to talk about.
That's awesome. So how many hours did it take you to win?
44.
44 hours. That's not bad.
Yeah.
So Naomi it took Naomi like 61 hours. So that's not bad.
Yeah, but not all of those were.
Yeah. So not all of them obviously were fully played because she had to look after baby as well.
Oh no,
during her
that's
playtime.
Yeah, different play
But,
styles,
yeah.
different things going on.
Obviously. Other things that if we do get time to talk about today, we'll probably be looking at, MMO games, PS5 and backwards compatibility. My birthday was on February 5th, so maybe we'll get a chance to talk about that. But if not, we can always talk about it on the next podcast. And then just some other little tidbits like Apex Legends, one of the biggest games to have hit Twitch or even just the PlayStation and I don't know if it's on Xbox or anything like that, but all sorts of fun goodness with Apex Legends. I've been playing it for the last 2 weeks now. So, and I hear Ninja also is playing it, so he's moved over from Fortnite, but he's still playing Fortnite. But anyway, more on that later. Why don't I introduce Miss Awesome Naomi, and you guys can get started on your amazing conversation about Kingdom Hearts 3.
That scene.
Yeah. Okay, so I gotta move her over here and get her comfy so that she can enjoy the conversation. 1 sec. Come on in. She's a little shy, guys. Go easy. Situation critical. Oh, so now you have 2 drinks.
Yeah, that's right.
One chocolate. So she's got chocolate milk drink here
Why
and
do
a
you
water
have to
drink
tell
here.
the world?
The people need to know,
We
okay?
need our 15 listeners on a weekly basis.
That now know what you drink.
All right,
We're
well,
set?
carry on.
All right.
Do your thing. Spoil away if you have to spoil. You have to move up a little bit.
I'm good
so
to
you can
go.
hit the mic.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Go.
So I guess fair warning. I mean, there will be some spoilers. We'll try to not be like, so this is how the game ends, but there's going to be some discussion of things about the game. So if you haven't played the game yet and you don't want to know anything whatsoever, you should probably skip ahead. Maybe 10, 15 minutes. I'm not sure how long we'll be talking about it, but yeah, here we go. So Kingdom Hearts 3, Naomi, what's your
Yes.
overall impression? Was it like, yes, this was worth the, 10-year wait? Or it was like, you know what? It was okay, or was like you were like let down because it was such a long time in between the 2 games.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I really enjoyed the game. I feel like it had a different feel compared to Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2. It was definitely more up to date, and I don't
Well, yeah,
I don't
from
know.
the PlayStation 2, it skipped
Yeah.
PlayStation 3 altogether, right?
Yeah.
Like and then boom, PlayStation 4. So everything's been like updated, the graphics, the size of the game, and the world. So yeah, I remember like I just beat Kingdom Hearts 2 a couple weeks ago, and then boom, throw myself into Kingdom Hearts 3. It's like, oh, it's big. It's a big difference.
Yeah, I think the worlds were bigger in Kingdom Hearts 3 as well. I feel like they were, there was more to explore, I felt.
Oh, that was one of my favorite things actually about the game's exploring.
Yeah.
But yeah, like some of the worlds, you just keep going, keep going, keep going. It's like, it's never ending.
Yeah, and then of course I was trying to find all like the different like treasure boxes and stuff, and I kept getting myself all wound around backwards, and I'd run backwards where I just came from, so I'm like, oh man, and then so I have to run the
Keep
other way.
backtracking, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I was spending more time looking for those freaking lucky emblems than I did anything else, probably.
Oh yeah, I didn't even really try for those. If like Donald and Goofy, if you come across one in the game, sometimes they say, oh, there's a lucky emblem around here, and then you have to try and find it. So I usually didn't look for them unless I knew they were in the area, because
You could spend so much time just,
they could be anywhere and made out of anything. So
even the one time
Amazing.
they were like, oh, there's a lucky emblem around here. I literally spent like 15 minutes like, where is this friggin' emblem?
yeah,
I'm like, I couldn't find it for the longest time. So, and now I have this like lucky emblem syndrome that I'm seeing Mickey Mouse faces in like the real world. So I'm just walking down the street and I look in the corner of my eye. I'm like, oh my god, is that a lucky emblem? I'm like, no, that's just a lamppost. So it's like it's messing with my head because I'm 44 hours into this game looking for friggin' Mickey Mouse heads, and now I'm like seeing them everywhere I go.
yeah.
But that was a fun thing about the game. So speaking about the expansive worlds, did you have a favorite world?
Yeah. Let's see. What was my favorite world? I'm trying to remember.
They're hard to remember. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the one I actually enjoyed just because I just felt like it was so big and it was the Tokyo one. I felt like it was a really big world and there was all these buildings and you could climb up all the buildings, and then finding all the treasure chests, I haven't found them yet. There's so many. And the pirate one. That's
Pirate
definitely
one.
my favorite. Yes,
Yeah.
the pirate movie or the pirate level. That one's definitely my favorite one.
That one was my favorite too, because that one, I felt like they did that one. They did everything with that one. Like, you had underwater moments, you had moments where you were on a ship, you had moments where you're flying around, you had moments where you're going to different islands. There's like so different types of gameplay, combat mechanics that you don't really see in the other worlds. So that was really, really cool. And like, you get to level up your ship. Like, so that one was definitely my favorite as well. It's funny though that you mentioned the Tokyo, Japan one. I actually didn't like that one at all, because the first time you got to go into the city, I just explored the entire city. I spent like a good hour getting everything, and then I finally went to the checkpoint where we're supposed to do it. So like the rest of the whole time I'm at the world, I was just like, I don't need to explore, because all it is really just that one big city. There's no different zones really.
Yeah.
So like
that's true.
the rest of the game, or the rest of the world, I was just like, okay, I'm just doing the missions, and I got all the exploring done right out of the way, because I'm just OCD with that. Like, if I got a new area, I don't leave that area or go further in the storyline until I explore it all. So like for this world, it's like, well, yeah. It was fun though, the cool, like going through the skyscrapers and how you can get really high up. So there's a couple of things I actually did like about it, but hands down, the pirate world, that's definitely the best one for sure.
Yeah, I really liked all of the islands, and there was always at least one Mickey per island, I think.
Oh, okay. Well, then I missed a ton of them then, because I found like maybe 3.
Yeah,
There's so many.
I know, it's crazy. There's 90 emblems altogether.
Yeah, I found 60, I think it said on my report card at the end of the game. I'm like, I could spend hours like looking at every nook and cranny of every world just to try to find. I'm like, I don't have that kind of time.
No, that's something you do after you've beaten the game, I think. That's what I'm going to do is, even though I've beaten the game, I'm probably still going to continue and try to collect all of the synthesis items and the treasure chests and the Mickey emblems. And there's so much you can do in that game, even after the whole
main walk. So there's some good replay going on there, because they do have like end game content, as you would say. Finding the emblems, trying to get the ultimate weapon. Apparently there's these end game gates you go into, and then you fight like different monsters, and they're pretty hard. And then you get special equipment and like secret reports. I don't know. I didn't get too much into that, but so yeah, the replay value seems to definitely be there.
Yeah, there was only one of those battle gates in the storyline. I was trying to look for more of them because I had read something online about them, but they weren't in the game like as you progressed, which was kind of irritating.
Yeah, I remember in Kingdom Hearts 2, there were, as you progress, there were little portals that you can go to do and fight organization members. And I thought that was really cool because they were like super hard battles, but you can come back to them later. But this one, there was nothing like that. So I went back into the game after I beat it, and those gates appear in the other worlds after you beat the game.
Oh.
So you just have to like, at the end of the game, it's like, do you want to save your clear data? You save it, and then you go back in, and it loads you right before the final boss fight, and then you can exit that and go to different worlds, and that's how you kind of get those other gates.
Oh, okay.
Spoiler alert. I guess that's a little after the fact. So yeah, so that's definitely really cool that they did throw in some endgame content. But there's also, if we got to talk about favorite world, next we got to talk about our favorite weapons, because there was lots and lots of Keyblades. So many Keyblades.
Well, actually, I felt like there wasn't as many as previous games. In Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, it seemed like you were getting like Keyblade after Keyblade after Keyblade, and in this game you only get a Keyblade after completing the story of a world.
Isn't that they do that in the other? I thought that's what happened in Kingdom Hearts 2.
Yeah, but then there's special ones. Oh, I don't know. I haven't played Kingdom Hearts 2 since like 10 years ago at least. So, but I just played or someone just played through Kingdom Hearts 1 anyway, either me or Elliott, and there's just so many different Keyblades you can get in that game, not just through the storyline, but through like side things, like in the what's it called, the Coliseum, and like different things you can do in the game, and in this game there really wasn't. I was expecting more for Keyblades anyways.
Okay, see, I don't remember the first one, so there was a lot more in the first one. Okay.
Yeah, I felt like there was. I don't know. I just felt like, yeah, here's a Keyblade for beating the world, and then that's it.
Well,
like
there's maybe there's 3 extra Keyblades I know of that you can get in the game that you don't get from defeating the worlds. One's, spoiler alert, one would be the ultimate weapon, which is like, oh my god, once I figured out you had to get so many things just to get it, I'm like, I'm not getting that weapon. And then there's one you get for getting all the cooking recipes.
Oh,
and then,
I didn't know that.
And the other one is if you get all the mini games.
Oh,
like, you know those black and white, like old, like Tiger handheld mini games.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Okay, that gives me more things to do.
Find all those mini games. I think you have to play each one and beat it, or maybe you don't. But that gives you another. Apparently, that's supposed to be really like the second best Keyblade in the game. I don't know. So that's some extra Keyblades there.
Yeah.
So what was your favorite one? What did you use the most, or did you have the most fun with?
Well, on my stats anyway, when I finished the game, it said I used the Monsters Inc. one the most. I was more of an attack person, like physical strength. So I like that one for its strength.
Yeah, same here. I was all about strength. Magic?
Yeah, but
What's
then,
magic? I don't know.
Yeah, but then I ended up maxing out that what's that one that turns into the guns? The one that they've advertised Sora with all the time? The Star Seeker or something?
Ever After? No, is that?
I don't know.
But there's one that shoots. There's I know which one you're talking about. The one that shoots. It's like a magic Keyblade, but it shoots.
Yeah. If you max that one out, it has pretty good attack and really good magic, and so I use that as well. But then there's another Keyblade you get later on in the game that I ended up liking the most so far.
Is that the one near the end? I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
We'll keep that a secret. We know what we're talking about.
Yeah. There's the Pirates one's pretty good though for strength. It's a pretty powerful Keyblade.
That one I maxed out, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's but for design, I would probably go with the one that he was advertised with, just because it seems it's so big and there's just so much more to it, I think, than the other Keyblades in the game.
Oh, like the shooting one, yeah. For design and just because it can turn into a gun and no other
Keyblade can do that, and I think that's pretty cool.
That is pretty. I remember the Kingdom Hearts 2 had a shooting one, and I never used it. I don't know why I didn't like it. I like to get up close to combat, so I used the Toy Story one a lot. The one that was like a hammer and turns into a drill. I used that one until I got the Pirates of the Caribbean one, and then I pretty much used that one for the rest.
I think that one's the favorite deputy or something.
Favorite deputy,
like
you're right.
Yeah.
So they gave you the option of, for the first time, of actually being able to equip like 3 Keyblades and switching through them instantaneously during combat. Did you find that you actually used that feature, or did you you just stuck to the same Keyblade throughout battles, or did you actually use the different ones, or
Well, I didn't use that system, but I can see how it can be helpful. So if you're going up against an enemy that's more weak against, like, you need to use magic, you can have a physical Keyblade, a magical Keyblade, and then there's one Keyblade that you get that's good for finding food items in the game, because, I don't know, spoiler alert, you can cook in the game, which is kind of cool.
Jeez, I didn't know you can cook in that game.
So yeah, there's a Keyblade there. So I mean, that's a pretty cool option to have, because say all of a sudden you're like, you know what, I want to go and I want to grind out and get some cooking items or whatever, and then you can just, by the press of a button, instead of having to go into your equipment and then trying to find it and whatever, it's already there. You just press a button and there it is. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I didn't use it much until the end of the game, but then when I started using it, I'm like, oh, this is actually not too bad, because I actually started using magic. So I'm like, oh, let me switch to my Keyblade that has high magic power. And then okay. But yeah, it was pretty cool though. That, there's I'm sure a lot of other people who will take advantage of that for, like, I guess, super hard mode, when it's like you need to probably take advantage of all the different type of Keyblades in a single battle.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, is that it's probably good for, like, the hardcore, super difficult, when you put it on the highest level of difficulty, you want to switch it. I didn't do that. I played beginner because I wanted to play the game and enjoy the story, and I didn't want to be frustrated. And
if you start dying to the same boss over and over again, it's a challenge. It's nice, but then if it's like you get too frustrated, it's like, well, then you're not enjoying it anymore.
No.
So what's the point?
Yeah.
So there's so many different Keyblades and battle mechanics. What are the things that they introduce as well as, like, these events? Like the Disney ride events. I thought it was funny how
those were great.
Every special event was just basically a way to advertise Disney rides. So did you have any which events did you find were really good, and did you find any were like, I hate these ones, they're not useful, or what are your thoughts?
Let's see. I really didn't like this. There's a Splash World.
The Splash one, yeah.
You're like on this water tube, and then you're going around and you're splashing water, and then your finish move is like you're going through all the waves that you just made, and then you're making this big splash at the end. And I really didn't like that one, because I felt, I don't know, I didn't find it very helpful. It just was too all over the place for me. I like it when I'm done using a move, I know where I am on the board. Like with that one, your camera's going everywhere, and you have no idea where you are in the end. So then you're trying to recalibrate yourself, and it's just, and then it's like you're actually on the ride, pretty much. You're just like, ugh. Yeah. Like if you were on hard mode for difficulty, and then you had that move and you used it, and then you're all discombobulated or whatever, and then all of a sudden, your enemies have a time to attack you, and that's obviously not good when you're on hard mode. So
I didn't like that one at all. I hated it. I got the splash of it. I'm like, I'm gonna let that timer run out. That's a hard pass.
The worst is when you get the there's abilities that I just hit the mic there. The worst is when you get the abilities that extend the time, and you equip them, and then you're just waiting for it to go away, but it never goes away, and you're just like, oh, come on. Yeah.
The other one I really hated was the teacups. I don't know. What do you think about the teacups? I felt you're bouncing around. It's hard to control. I get the teacups. I just spam triangle. Like, get it over with. Give me all these teacups.
Well, I spin around a bit. Like, I don't know. I kind of like that one. But yeah, definitely the finishing move for that is the reason why you use it.
Yeah.
Because, it's otherwise it's kind of just all over the place.
I find it was hard to
So-
aim where I was going in the teacup. I'm like, I'm not hitting anybody. Maybe I'm just bad with the teacups. That's probably what it is. So what about what's one of your favorite events?
What's one of my favorites? Let's see. Well, for the Disney ride ones, probably the boat, the pirate ship.
The sheep.
Yeah, there's so many times I got the enemy stuck on top, so it swings back and forth just like a pirate ship at the at a theme park, and so the enemy would be stuck on top of the pirate ship, and so I'd swing one way and I'd hit the enemy, and then he'd fly the other way and I'd swing back and I'd hit the enemy. So that's how I'd kill so many bosses that way. It was great.
Oh yeah, you juggle them, and I found like if that ever popped up on a boss fight, I'm like, okay, this boss is gonna be easy now because you bounce and you bounce and you bounce and you bounce, and like, oh, there goes almost all of his health.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely the pirate ship was my favorite. I was like, oh, pirate ship, yes.
Yeah.
It's a good
and
one.
I like Donald's flare. His
fireworks or the meteor.
Well, I like both, but I definitely like the fireworks one because they kind of targeted all the enemies and went off in different directions. And
I found that one took off a lot of health off the bosses if you got it really close to them too.
Yeah,
for sure. So some good events, some bad events. So I guess it can't all be great.
Yeah.
So, big question: the storyline of the game. So, how did you feel from start to finish? Because I kind of felt like
it was missing something.
Most of the game was kind of like you go into. I know Kingdom Hearts games are about going to different worlds, and that's really fun and exciting. But I felt this one, every time you went to a different world, it didn't really further the main plot line.
No, it didn't.
It felt like 90% of the game was just going to different worlds, and then the last 10% of the game was like, oh, here's the main storyline advancing at that point. So I felt like the storyline was just like, you got to see a lot of the organization members in each world, but it felt like every world was a side quest. And then the end of the game was the game. Well, I don't know. What was your thoughts on that? Is it just me, or do you kind of agree or disagree?
No, I agree. I felt like, there really wasn't a... Can I talk about, like, I don't know what I can talk about here. No, he's gone, but
well, we said spoilers, so let's just, we're having a talk.
Okay, so the point of Sora going on these adventures was to try and get this power of awakening.
Yes.
And I just felt like, what was the point? Every time he went into a new world, it's like, okay, what are you learning from this? Like, you're just helping out these people, but what are you really, how is this furthering your goal to get that power? I don't understand. I just felt like he was just there observing and helping where he had to, but what was he doing?
You just go to different worlds and be like, oh, let's check out this world. And there was even moments in the story it was like, what are we doing here? I don't know. It's literally what they said. And one of them was like, what are we doing here? I don't know. Like, what? So like it's really weird.
Yeah, just he was using his heart as the key, like, follow your heart and we'll go to his heart led him to this world. So apparently all of these worlds were supposed to have some sort of secret meaning behind them or whatever, like a moral of the story, but I don't know. Yeah,
like I didn't really see him grow as a character in the storyline throughout the game. And like I get it, he was growing stronger as leveling up, but like that, I mean, I don't know. It was just the storyline was, and even some of the dialogue, whoever wrote the dialogue for Sora, or even a lot of the characters, they seemed really stale and like dumbed down and boring. Like some of the side characters had better dialogue, like what's his face? Oh geez, Hades. He had like really good, for better word, dialogue in the game. But I felt like Sora, you should be like, just say dumb, nonsensical things that just like obvious statements, like, oh, he's really strong, or like it's just like, oh, it was really weird. I don't know.
I felt like, well, I noticed that at the beginning, and then, you know, as you go through, I tend to not pay attention to that so much because you just get used to it, I guess. But at the beginning of the game, it was like they were trying to make this joke with Donald and Sora, and it just was so lame and it wasn't funny, but they were laughing, and I'm like, why are you laughing? That's not funny. Like, it felt
forced almost, eh?
Yeah, I felt like they were pandering more to newer fans, like younger fans, as opposed to the fans that the older fans like us that have been part of the whole fandom since, you know, before. Yeah. Like even like the little cutscene, the little the load screens.
Oh, the what was it? The Twitter things that they put up.
Yeah, the tweet things. It's like, what is that? Really? I don't get that. It's like hashtags and stuff. It's like, why?
They're just
why
trying
is
to be.
That a part
they're
of
being hip.
Yeah, it really bothered me because it's like, that's not Kingdom Hearts, guys.
Yeah, it was another thing that kind of got me. It was like two things with the story. They didn't use any really Final Fantasy stuff. They sprinkled it in so ever slightly.
Oh, I know. It so bothered me. Where were all the Final Fantasy characters?
And I get it. They didn't want to introduce new Final Fantasy characters because they had so many new... But they could have brought back some Final Fantasy characters. Okay, so no Final Fantasy characters. Fine. But then they also just kind of sprinkled in Maleficent and Pete. And every couple of hours, like, we're looking for a box. What? Yeah. And even at the end of the game... you get nothing. And then there's a lot of other things, like, if I'm not crazy, I'm not mistaken, there's a point where somebody's talking about Sora and he's like, he has 3 hearts in him, and they're like, okay, that's Roxas, Ventus, and then they like, what's that third one? They never said anything about the third one. Who's the third heart in him? Like, did you remember that, or was I crazy and I misheard something? Because I could have sworn they said 3 hearts in him.
But see, you would know the 3 hearts if you had played the other games.
Oh, see, yeah, but then I feel like they can't expect everyone to play all 7-8 games, and then like they should be able to fill you in somehow. Well,
there was the catch-up things at the beginning.
Oh, all those. I'm not going through like 2 hours of in-game storyline that I could watch catch me up. I want to play the game.
No, it wasn't even that long. It was like 15-20 minutes.
Well, I didn't look at it. I guess I should have. I don't know. And the other thing is, there's the one battle at the end where the guy gives Sora a card.
Yes.
And they don't even touch on that. So I felt like there's a lot of left open things that didn't tie together at the end. And I get it. They leave it open for the sequel. But I'm like, I don't know what the sequel, Kingdom Hearts 4, 2033? Who's going to remember? Yeah. Like, you know what? If they're going on, you know, how long it took them to make Kingdom Hearts 3, who knows when Kingdom Hearts 4 is going to come out, let's be honest.
Well, and the thing is that the creators of Kingdom Hearts have already said that Sora is no longer going to be part of Kingdom Hearts. So how are they going to continue the storyline?
Well, did you get the secret ending?
I don't know. I don't think so, considering I played on beginner and I really didn't finish any of the like side things like the emblems or the treasure chests or any of that stuff.
Okay, so all I can say is he's in the secret ending, so I feel like...
You got the secret ending?
I got the secret ending. If you really want to look at it, I'm sure you could just YouTube it. Or actually, you could definitely could.
What is the... oh, man, now I want to see this. Now I want to know what's in the... Like, I mean, there was I saw a scene after the credits, but I don't know if that's a secret ending.
The scene you probably saw after the credits was the epilogue where they're on the beach. Yeah, that's not the secret ending. No, the secret ending is the secret ending.
How did you get the secret ending?
I heard you get the secret ending by collecting a certain amount of secret emblems. I'm not sure if that's the only criteria, because I didn't get them all. But I don't know. But
man,
I won't spoil it for you, but he's in the secret ending, which leads me to believe that absolutely he's going to be in the sequel. Maybe the sequel will be a spin-off for, like, you know, and not it would be Kingdom Hearts 3.416 pi. Like, you know what I mean?
Just like they did at the beginning of Kingdom Hearts 3, Kingdom Hearts 2.9, like, and you're just like,
imagine if the designers and producers trolled everyone. It's like, yeah, this isn't Kingdom Hearts 3. This is just Kingdom Hearts 2.9.
The game, so many returns,
and it just
of the
rickrolled.
game.
It rickrolled everybody. That would have been the best rickrolled ever if they would have done that. But so yeah,
no.
the storyline was a little wonky, I thought.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there was a lot of stuff, and I felt like, I don't know, the story, the worlds you went into there. I just felt like you were in there and then you were out, and then that was it. But in the other games, I felt like you could go back to them, and there was more in the world.
I was looking forward to that, and then they're just like, no. It's like you can visit back and try and get like the chests and emblems, but there's no more content. Like Kingdom Hearts 2, you go through the worlds. Halfway through the game, they make you revisit the worlds to further the story because there's more things going on in those worlds. I was really looking forward to like going back to the Hercules world and going through more story and more. I wanted more Hades and more, maybe a Colosseum or just nothing. So a little disappointing that while the worlds were big in the first visit, they never really gave you a reason to revisit them for, like I said, to further the story or to do anything else.
Did we even go back to the Hercules world and later on in the game?
In this game?
Yeah.
The only time you really need to revisit the worlds a second time is at the end when you're falling and you go in those circles and then you fight that guy to release the hearts. I'm trying to say the least amount as possible not to spoil anything. But and you're just there for like a minute to fight this guy, and then you start falling through the black void and you got to fall in a different world portal.
Yeah.
That's really the only time you revisit the worlds.
Yeah. That's not, I mean, it was a nice game. It was good. The graphics were amazing.
It was
awesome.
Spot on, and
yeah,
the world, the environment was all very well done. Absolutely.
Yeah, and even though the characters in the worlds weren't, for the most part, voiced by the original people, as far as I know.
No, and I thought that was a big miss. Voice acting. And you could tell they kind of got some voice actors that were close to the originals. So a good example is, Woody. So Woody was actually voiced by Tom Hanks' brother. I don't know what his name is. Jim? So, yeah.
Yeah, I looked it up before we got started.
So it's interesting. So he kind of sounds like Woody. It's his brother. But it doesn't make any sense. Guess what's coming out this year?
Toy Story.
Toy Story 4.
Yeah.
Duh. Why wouldn't it be the best idea to promote it and getting actually Tom Hanks in the game? And wouldn't Tom Hanks want to do that because that's promoting his movie? It's it seems like a win-win. And it's not like Tom Hanks would have to spend weeks and months voice acting for this game because you could probably knock it out in a couple of days, all the lines he probably had in the actual game. You know what I mean? It's just one world. He probably had 10, 15 minutes of actual start to finish dialogue in the game. So,
well, considering how short each world was.
So I was surprised
to explore.
Surprised they didn't, and they didn't get Aussie Tim Allen to do Buzz. They had somebody else. There was a couple of the voice actors that were original, or actually from Pirates of the Caribbean. They had the Captain Jack's second-hand man, the guy with the beard. I don't know his name, but anyways, there's a couple he was the actual voice actor.
Captain Jack Sparrow didn't have Johnny Depp as the voice actor,
that was a big miss,
yeah, I'm very upset about that.
Yeah, and they didn't even use the iconic theme of the Pirates of the Caribbean theme in that world. The you know what I mean? They didn't have that.
Yeah,
come on,
that's true.
That would have been so awesome and pumped up during the big boss battle if they started playing that song. So they're voice actors. They missed it on a few of the fronts there, but if they can't get them, or maybe they didn't even try to get them, who knows?
Maybe it's because they just put so much time and money and effort into the visuals of the game that they cheaped out on the voice actors. Yeah,
that's who knows. But the one thing I noticed right away with the voice acting was the very first world, Hercules, and then horse, the Pegasus, comes in, and he has Meg and the satyr. What's his name? Phil. Phil in the back.
Yeah.
Phil does not say a single word in the entire game, and he has a very unique voice. Danny DeVito. Yeah.
Right.
You can't, like, it's spot on. You know, if you hear Danny DeVito talk, like, that's freaking Danny DeVito. Like, and I noticed right away, like, why isn't he saying anything? I'm like, they didn't get Danny DeVito to voice him, so they're just like, he's not going to say anything. He said nothing in the entire game. If anybody hasn't played this yet, when you go through it, try to see if you notice if he says anything. He says nothing. He's just there in the background. I was like, oh man, you can't even get Danny DeVito? Come on. So yeah, and they didn't even try to replace him with somebody that might sound like him, like they did with other characters. So
I don't understand. Like, this is supposed to be the game, like, to set all Kingdom Hearts games, like, to shame or whatever, and it just, I feel like they missed their mark a bit,
considering how much time they've had to work on it. Yeah, I feel like I expected a little bit more. They did amazing on certain things, but there's a couple of things where I'm like, come on, why didn't you have this in the game?
I felt like they spent a lot of time and effort on the beginning of the game and the end of the game, but then the middle of the game sort of lacked.
And I agree, and I think you see that. My two favorite worlds is the Hercules world and the Pirate of the Caribbean world. And I feel like the worlds in between those were just not as fleshed out.
No, and it was kind of a ripoff too, because if you've seen the movies, you pretty much know what's going to happen in the games or in the game, because all they did was take parts of the movie and stick them in the game, and they just stuck Sora in to interact with them.
Yeah, they've done that too before, I think, with the other Kingdom Hearts games. So
I know, but this one just really bothered me.
Yeah, I actually felt like I would have liked them to have done that with the Monsters Inc. one. See, the Monster Inc. one,
they did change that one.
They made it so, like, whatever's happening when you go into that world is after where the movie ended.
Right, because they're already using laughter. Yeah, as
exactly.
Power.
So I'm like,
right.
They did pretty good with it, but I was kind of hoping to get to see, the actual movie play out. Kind of.
Did they ever make a Monsters Inc. 2?
Yeah, it was a prequel. It's Monsters University or something. Which,
but they didn't make one after.
Which was a letdown because it wasn't as good, the prequel. No.
I've never seen it, but I guess I'm not really missing anything since it was not that good.
So lastly is the future of Kingdom Hearts 3. DCL. Okay. We all know it's coming. We know it's coming. Love it or hate it. They're gonna just whatever that's
how it works.
Is gonna be. Are you gonna get the DCL? Or are you gonna be like, you know what? I gave them enough of my money. They're not getting any more money.
Isn't it DLC?
What did I say?
DCL.
Yeah, downloadable. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. Probably most likely, obviously, because it's Kingdom Hearts, I'm gonna get it and I'm gonna play it and then see how it goes. I don't know what exactly they could add to the game. I'm
thinking, because there was a lot going on while you went around doing your adventures, like maybe the DLC. Oh God, why do I keep saying DLC? Could be like when Kairi and Leah is doing their training, like they can make a whole Lee. Okay, I butchered that too. They could do a whole thing where like. What happened there, their whole training thing, and then they could probably do a side thing about. Oh
yeah, that's a good one. I never even thought about that. Yeah,
so they could do that,
or Riku and Mickey.
That's the second one
because they were going off on their
exactly.
Adventures.
They can do one there. Yeah. Terra for this whole time was just MIA, right? So they can do like a Terra story side thing. Like I'm sure they'll do some
or Aqua, even though they had 2.8.
Yeah, but they could probably do more. Absolutely, because apparently she was in the Dark Realm for like a decade. I didn't play the inter games. Those.
We were all in the Dark Realm for a decade.
Oh, that's true. Good one. Oh God, but here maybe they'll do extra worlds, downloadable content where like that opens up new worlds to visit. Oh, how does that tie into the storyline? Nice. Who knows? I don't know. But it'll be interesting. I probably won't because I'm a big I'm against downloadable content. I think it's silly for a company to expect players to shell out more money for a game that's either incomplete or just to slowly tack on little blocks of it. I'd rather just, you know what? Make a new game. I'll shell out another $80 for the new game. I don't want to shell out $40 for another 10 hours. But that's just me.
Yeah.
That's just me.
Yeah, no, I agree. I like back in the day when you bought a game, it was complete no matter what, and there was no updates. It was just, that's how it is.
Yeah, you got it, and you play it start to finish, and then there you go.
Yeah. Well, that's how all the original Kingdom Hearts were. I mean, that's why they released Final Mix for 1 and 2 and Chain of Memories, because, you couldn't update them.
So they had to release a new
yeah,
game
they had to release a new version. Well, actually, I think the Final Mixes were actually the actual releases in Japan, and so then
that's true.
We got that extra content as a final mix, and then of course we had to pay again for the same game for a couple extra scenes, but that's another story. That's other Kingdom Hearts games.
A whole nother bag of whatever. Well, we won't spoil any more for you guys. I think we covered a lot of good topics. So,
yeah. Well,
go ahead.
What did you think of the end? Did you feel like it was dragged on a lot? Like, it's like do you feel like, I felt like it was a typical Square Enix game. It's like, this isn't my final form, and then you fight that next boss, and it's like, oh no, this isn't my final form either. Come and fight me again. And I always felt like,
well, they did that in Kingdom Hearts 2, because I just beat Kingdom Hearts 2, and I remember the last boss was like 7 different forms, but every time you fought him, there was a different thing to it. Like, one was like you're flying and riding and shooting, and another one's like, there's a lot more different dynamics. And like, there's one where you're in a different realm, and then you're Riku, and you got to save Sora at that part of the fight. So in this last one, it just kind of felt like you're just fighting him over and over again in different little forms. There's a one point in the final fight, spoiler alert, where he loses his light and he becomes like his heartless form. But that's literally like for a minute, and it's not really a whole nother battle. It's just, I didn't feel like it did drag on, but it just wasn't as unique as Kingdom Hearts 2 was the final boss. I didn't find anything too special about the final boss.
I always felt like the enemy was running away from me. Like, the bad guy.
Oh yeah.
I was beating him up, and then he'd teleport away and turn into something else, trying to outpower me, but then you always outpower him, obviously, because that's how the game's supposed to go. But I just felt like it's always the bad, he's always running away.
Yeah, like you get his health bar down a couple things, and then like, oh, cutscene, he runs away, and then you change scenes, or he changes forms, and then you fight him again, and rinse and repeat. Yeah, I was a little bit of a letdown, the last boss battle. It wasn't like, oh my god, this is so amazing, over crazy. No, definitely felt a little underwhelming for the final boss battle.
So, I mean, then how overall do we rate this game? I mean, with all of these things that we've said.
We've been trash talking it for the past half hour. No,
I mean, it was a good game. I really enjoyed playing it. I mean, some of the worlds were kind of boring, but then there was the pirate world, and I did enjoy the Tokyo world. And I enjoyed all the side things, like trying to find all the emblems and it's not just emblems, like the of course there's the Muggles that want to synthesize stuff, right? So they want pictures too, and then there's the treasure boxes, and then there's those mini game things, and it's just, there's a lot of side things that you can do in this game that can keep you occupied. And maybe that's what they focused on, was trying to keep you going instead of putting all their effort into the main storyline.
Yeah, they did a lot of right and a lot of things they missed. I think a big miss was the storyline. For the most of the game, there's just you visiting worlds. There's no real storyline progressing. And when it does go to the storyline at the end, God help you if you haven't played the other 12 games, you're not going to know the difference between the 12 different Xemnas, Xehanorts, and blah, 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 blah. Like, it can get very complex and convoluted at the end.
Man, I have something to say about that old man Xehanort. I am not happy about his voice actor. I just do not like that guy's voice. I don't know who he is, and I don't know what he's done before, but his voice for Old Man Xehanort was
He's not
terrible.
working for you.
There was not enough emotion behind it, and it was not after Leonard Nimoy voiced him originally.
I had no idea.
He's just not a good. It just wasn't enough to make up for that loss of Leonard Nimoy. Like, Leonard Nimoy was an awesome voice actor for Old Man Xehanort, and that guy just didn't cut the mustard. He didn't.
Yeah.
He didn't do it for me. Like, at the end, there was one part where there should have been a lot of emotion behind his actions, and he just was flat, and I was very upset.
No, that goes back again to the voice actors. Kind of missed the mark on the voice actor storyline, and they did a lot of good too. Though it was enjoyable, but at the end of the day, if this gets like Game of the Year, I'll be like, no, I'm sorry. And it had the potential, it had the hype, it had the build, they had the time to make it. What so many years? It had the potential to be an amazing game, and I thought it was a good game. I enjoyed it. So I give it if we're doing like out of 10, I'd say a 7.5.
Okay, yeah, I was going to say around a 7 or whatever, but yeah, I mean, it was very beautiful. It was a very beautiful game. I really enjoyed the fighting, and I enjoyed seeing all the characters, and the final part of the game was fun. The first part of the game was fun. The middle was kind of stale. I don't know. And if you have it, you definitely need to play at least Birth by Sleep.
So yeah, I didn't play Birth by Sleep.
That's a definite.
So that's why I was
Birth by
confused
Sleep
about some things probably.
Yeah, and the other one, 352 over the 300 was it 358 over 2 days. Definitely, that one's important to play. I actually didn't watch the prequel to Kingdom Hearts, the not Birth by Sleep, the other one, the Unchained or whatever.
Okay.
Kingdom Hearts Unchained. I don't know. It was like this mini game or something you could play on your mobile.
Yes. I played that, and I played it when it came out. I don't really remember too much about anything to do with a storyline, but. Yeah. Yeah,
but that part, there was a big part of it at the end of the game, and I didn't know who the characters were, and I was just like, okay, well, I guess I should have at least watched some of those cutscenes, okay. But well, I mean, for the rest of the game, you're okay for the most part. But yeah, if you're the big thing is if you're going to play this game, it's important to at least play Birth by Sleep and 358 over 2 days. Yeah. I mean, those two for sure.
That will probably give you a lot better understanding of the story, for sure.
Yeah. So
there it is.
Yeah. I guess. Yeah.
That was a whole lot. There's a lot. And we could probably talk about Kingdom Hearts for a lot more, because there's even a lot of things we didn't touch on. From magic to synthesis, to that one thing we talked about, the photo taking. So there's a lot more that maybe we'll touch on another time. But
yeah, I really enjoyed the selfies.
I didn't take any selfies. I realized you could, but I was just not. I'm just gonna take pictures of the emblems.
But you gotta take if you point the camera at the characters in the different worlds, they react, and then you could take selfies with them.
So there's a cool little thing too you could do. Nice.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Well, it was really amazing fun talking to you about this, because I haven't really talked to anybody else who's played the game, so it was really cool to hear your reactions and from everything in the game and your opinions. So it was awesome. Yeah, it was really fun to talk about it. I mean, yeah, like you said, there's probably so much more we could talk about, but I mean, we only have so much time. Exactly. So we don't want to. Yeah. We don't want to go on too long now. So that's Ian. No. All right. Okay. So I guess we'll. I don't know how we're running on time here. Maybe we'll get Elliott back in here, and we'll see what happens. Okay, so I will go get him, because he's hiding in the back room, trying not to hear what we're talking about. He's avoiding the spoilers as much as possible. Yeah, so I will be right back with him. Lots of minutes.
That was a beautiful conversation.
So, what we were talking about is we thought it was crazy how Sora ended up killing Mickey at the end. to unleash his heart, to unleash Kingdom Hearts. Like that blew me away.
Of course you would.
Blew me away.
Right? You would talk about something that I completely don't understand. So you did end up doing the whole podcast on Kingdom Hearts 3.
Didn't even
That's
realize.
awesome.
I felt like 10 minutes. When you're enjoying something, you know what they say. It just
I
time
know.
flies.
I know, and you guys sounded like you got into some depth in that, some spoilers,
There's some spoilage.
That is all right. Everything is A-okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to post this the way it is, because I'm not going to obviously listen to it. So whatever it is, it's unloaded, and actually we'll call this Podcast Extreme Uncut Kingdom Hearts 3 edition.
Big spoiler alert.
Extreme
Big spoiler
Extreme
alerts.
unedited, uncensored.
There you go. And I'll make sure I write all that in the thing. So yeah, I think we're going to, I think a bi-weekly podcast is working out pretty good. I mean, we can, if we get an opportunity to, do another one on a weekly, consider that a bonus podcast for those who are listening. I think we get about, 5 to 10 listeners a week, which is kind of cool. And I was doing some of the research on our analytics, and everybody seems to be enjoying what we have. So that's good. Yes, that is 100% in. We are in, and we are
Now we're out.
in a moment. So again, that was Naomi. Thanks, Naomi, for stopping by.
Big shout out, Naomi.
Even though she lives with me. Talking about her passion of Kingdom Hearts 3. Yeah, I heard you did a good job there, Mr. JC Draconant. So thank you for that. Because, Naomi is pretty shy coming into the conversation at the beginning.
Awesome. Are you kidding me?
She killed it. All right. So with that being said, I didn't even need to say anything today. So I'm Elliott, the imaginary host from the 2P Project. This is your Kingdom Hearts 3 aficionado, Jeff, and my partner in crime here, Miss Naomi, standing behind me, and we are all ready to say, ready? Can we all do it at the same time? 1, 2, 3. 2P
Out.
out.
I almost forgot what it was. Like, what are they going to say?